Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Plus, what can I say? We've had like a spate of 45-minute, well, like 30-minute runs, really. And even this one, X67S HXZ7. Great rate of fire, awful damage, just terrible. Speed is not amazing either, but we're starting with a little bit of extra HP on account of Mr. Dolly, and we have static tears. So I'm not expecting like static tears to make up for our pretty abysmal damage right now, but what I will say is that we can use it as kind of like an analog to having a huge hitbox. I mean, I guess is what it mostly comes down to. That's actually, the speed upgrade there is really nice. Basically, if we aim to miss and we shoot fast enough, we kind of get like a weird sort of piercing shots thing going on that is actually beyond half decent. It's gonna make up for the fact to some extent that we've got relatively poor damage right now, I think. And then hopefully we'll just get great damage in the future and, you know, the world's our oyster. I don't know, that the expression must come from like the 1930s, because nowadays people are all like, I don't like seafood, it tastes too seafoody. But back in the day, people were like, yeah, dude, an oyster. It's like all your nutrition right there, and it tastes like the ocean, something I've never seen but have only heard tell of in legend. Piercing shots, I think, is the biggest get here. Obviously, we have a chance to get Steven, which would be nice. We have a much higher chance to get Little Steven, you know, weighted by the way that we tend to do this fight. And neither of those are going to be 10 out of 10s. Although regular Steven is always like a much stronger damage upgrade than I ever give it credit for. Little Steven is like just okay. Regular Steven, I always go like, oh, you know, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But really, like, regular Steven is pretty demonstrably better. Either way, it don't matter. We're moving on here with Little Steven, doing a little extra bonus stuff for us here. If we don't start to pop somewhere on this floor, or next floor really is the fair one, then I'll start to get a little anxious. Not quite nervous, not quite, you know, scared. Because I ain't ever scared, except when I'm watching the Babadook. Because that dude is frightening. But we got a little bit of time to make the run pop still. And it's very easy, because our rate of fire is already great, well, good. All we need is damage. So if we can just get a damage up, like it's a big get, but straight up a cricket's head by itself takes us to at least temporary greatness. Magic Mush, temporary greatness. You know, we got a lot of outs. Sulfuric acid, I don't think it does much for us. I know you're going to be saying, well, what about the situation in which it destroys a rock and thus allows your static tears to survive longer? Yeah, how much longer? Like a quarter of a second? It's not bad necessarily. It's just, I don't think it's going to be very valuable. In fact, I would be surprised if it even creates noticeable value. But we got to deal with the devil here, and we've got one red heart to work with it. And if we have to, we can always pop Pandora's box, which I think on this floor just gives me consumables. I don't think it gives me spirit hearts. There we go. We got a damage up. We're up to basically 5, and then this will take us to the Whore of Babylon state. What? There we go. Yeah, it takes us to the Whore of Babylon state. So now we've got really, really good stats, actually. Wait a minute. Yo! Little Steven's tears are affected by static tears. That's kind of cool. So that should be 3 spirit hearts for us. Now I gotta think about it, because if I use Pandora's box, I can get a bomb and possibly open up, you know, a crawl space here. If I don't use Pandora's box, I can use it on the next floor, which is way more valuable. So I think I'm just gonna buy a bomb and then crack into the floor this way and hope that the crawl space is worth it. But in the end, if it's not a huge loss. We got enough money to, well, pay for the bomb. We got more than enough money to pay for the bomb, and we got some bombs. So in the end, I think that basically worked out. So then we're going to come back, and we're going to drop our bomb back here. We got a spirit heart out of that, and you know, I would like to get Mom's Key here. Ventricle Razor is also cool, but I think I'm gonna hang on to Pandora's Box. I don't care about getting a free deal with the Angel as much, but I'd rather turn it into an item than just a few consumables. So we'll use it immediately on the next floor, and then we have an open spacebar slot to basically choose whatever we want if we find it. Mom's coin purse is not really what we're hoping for. Telepills. Dude, if that took me to an error room, I would have been an unhappy camper. But we do have blank card access now, and blank card's nice. You know, it's better than Blank Man, starring Damon Wayans from the early 1990s. And I say that, I'll admit to you straight up, I have not seen Blank Man. You know, it's a movie that came out when I was like 6. And you know, when you're 6, your parents don't want you to watch a movie like Blank Man, because they're like, you know, there might be like a poop joke in it or something like that. He might show his testicles. They're not going to let you see Blank Man. I feel like, you know, if you're growing up these days, like let's say you're 15, you don't know how good you got it with respect to superhero movies. You know what I had when I was 15, we had Spider-Man 2 and X-Men 2, two of the greats, but like those were aberrations at the time. When I was like, you know what, let's go for it. Let's go full shovel build. When I was like 6, we had the Rocketeer, which still people to this day go like, they ruined it, but it should have been good. Or like, it could have been like a franchise, but it didn't exist as much back then. We had like The Phantom, starring Billy Zane. We had The Shadow. I think that was Alec Baldwin playing a superhero. And then like, well, Tim Burton's Batman as well. But like, all I'm trying to say is that it wasn't the same like, these days, like, I feel like an old man when I watch like Captain America Civil War, seeing like the dawn of like the first steam engine that's ever existed on planet Earth. And I'm like, I never thought they'd get it done. The bastards actually did it. Good on you. Like, I'm proud of mankind, right? And then other people are like, well, that doesn't really talk about the Dadaist themes in the Marvel. You know, I'm like, you don't we had The Phantom starring Billy Zane. You've got all of your favorite superheroes getting together to fight crime. I'm not saying you should be non-critical. I'm just saying, like, you know, you're the guy, you're me getting on an airplane in 2016 being like, oh, it's one of those, it's a 737. I thought we'd be on the 787 Dreamliner and I'd have the, you know, custom tint window shades. Instead, I gotta deal with, you know, the pull-down ones, you know, when it comes to the superhero movies, am the dude who's like, I'm not sure this thing's gonna get off the ground because that seems unfathomable to my Neanderthal brain. I used to feel that way about airplanes. Like, every time I get on an airplane, it's very naive, but you'd like look at the wings and be like, yeah, those look good enough. Like, I'm gonna. Oh yes, sir, you dinged the light at the top. Is there anything that you'd like? Man, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I know you're on this airplane, you know, 70 hours a week, and this is the second time I've ever flown anywhere in my entire life. But that wing's got a little tape on it. You sure it's airworthy? Like, they'd kick me off the airplane. In 2017, they punched me in the face and then kicked me off the airplane. Haha, timely jokes. Get on the plane. Does it smell like there could be a fuel leak on this airplane to anybody else? Anyone else smell industrial lubricant? Just throwing it out, like the flight attendants. In my head, the flight attendants are just like, they've gone nose blind to the airplane, and I'm the only rational person on the airplane that's like, oh, it kind of smells like there's something burning here. I think it might be the Rolls-Royce twin turbo engine over there. Good way to get yourself brought into secondary. So, Epic Fetus is like a guaranteed win, but it's also kind of lame. Because if we have sad bombs, I think it would be fun. But we don't have sad bombs, so I think it would be a little lame to just go from like sweet electric fence thing that we got going on here to like, we don't need that anymore. Instead, we're just going to drop nuclear missiles on them all from 10,000 feet up in the sky. So we're going to stick with what we got for now. Because it's good enough, and it's also entertaining, and that's all I can ask for. Let's go. So yeah, that's... I'm not saying you should be non-critical. I'm just saying maybe I'm in the ideal situation because I can enjoy them being non-critical because of the fact that I lived through some that were kind of like not very good. You know, when I was a kid, we were like, hey, Daredevil's not awful. Screw you, NL. The Netflix original series Daredevil's like, no, not the Netflix original series Daredevil. I mean the Ben Affleck 2002 film Daredevil. Oh, carry on then, carry on then. As if nothing really matters. That's the other thing, is like, I'm not old at all. I'm old in like a 3-year-old sense. You're old. You're like 70, you know? But I'm not, like, by rational measures, I'm not old. But I am old enough to have reached the level where I don't feel good we're obviously taking the wafer, but where I don't feel good complaining about anything because it's now one science fiction level ahead of where things were when I was growing up. And I don't just mean like, everyone always goes for the obvious, oh no, sulfuric tears. Oh no, baby, what is you eroding? Everyone always goes for the obvious, like, you've got in your pocket a computer more powerful than the most powerful supercomputer in 1998. And I'm like, yeah, okay. It's not like I'm doing protein folding on it. I'm just going to Twitter. Here's a picture of some dude being a jerk on the escalator. Thank God I got a supercomputer. But like, I mean, that's also futuristic, but not what I'm going for. Here's a little slice of life for you. You want to watch your favorite episode of The Simpsons? 23 short films about Springfield. What do you do in the year 2017? Oh, well, recently FX played all of the Simpsons, and then they had them on demand online, so I can just grab them there. You know, sorry, that's incorrect. In 1998, what you do is, basically, let's be honest, what you're going to do is type it into Google, and then you're going to find a site that doesn't look like it's going to give you malware, probably, and you're going to watch it. I don't know if they're on Hulu or anything at this point, but if they are, even better. But yeah, what you do in 1998? Hey, The Simpsons is on 4 to 5 p.m. every day after I get home from school. They always play 2 reruns. Maybe if I watch for enough days in a row, they'll play 23 short films about Springfield. Oh, but wait, Northernlion, you're forgetting about the amazing invention of the television guidebook, where everybody submitted their listings to a company that collated them and then printed them in just like... Every single one of those was like 1/8 of a tree. Which means that over the course of 2 months, every human household in the country was responsible for a tree being ripped from this earth to print off a bunch of stuff where people then, ooh, make sure to watch, tune into Fox on Thursday. They're going to be playing 23 short films about Springfield. That's a great episode. You know? Netflix has actually, it spoiled me to the point that I think I have ruined myself to some extent. I watched a 2010 Korean film a couple nights ago called I Saw the Devil. Now, many people are going to ask me what I thought of this film. I did not enjoy it very much. And I understand that it is well-liked. I tend to agree with critics most of the time. I gotta be honest. About halfway through this movie, I went, this is ridiculous. But maybe I'm missing the point. I understand that he's a bit of an absurdist director. But anyway, that's beside the point. The point is, I had the luxury of finding it, Googling it to determine if it was any good, because I don't trust Netflix's star ratings to begin with. And then was like, oh, it's good, and I'll watch it. Instantly watched it, fully, like, localized with subtitles. And then at the end had the luxury to be like, I didn't enjoy it that much. If that had come out in, like, the year 1995, if you wanted to watch that movie, you'd have to go to, like, you'd have to go from my hometown to Toronto, and there would be like 2 video stores. I'll go to the cool video store. They have 8 foreign films there. And then you'd talk to the guy and be like, I don't know, in Korean it's called like Chogyo. And then he'd be like, oh, you're talking about this, yeah. And then you'd get it and you'd rent it, and it would be like $9. It'd be on VHS. It'd be fan translated by like someone who didn't quite get the localization right. put the tape in the tape deck, it's not even rewind, it plays the ending first, and you go, oh, come on. You know? I get that this is becoming, like, I get it. Times change, but you will, if you're not there, you will appreciate it one day, is all I'm saying. And then people said that to me, and I went, yeah, whatever, Grandpa. Satellite TV's always gonna be around. I botched the joke a little bit, but you get the idea. That's why I laugh when people are like, you know, YouTube's gonna be around in like 60 years. Like, I don't see why YouTubing can't be a 60-year career. Well, I think you could have, like, you know, the genesis of a 60-year career, or, you know, a 40-year career, let's say, to be less absurd. 60-year career is like, it's almost worse than a 40-year career. It's like, I can't get out. I gotta retire at some point, right? But, you know, I think you could lay the groundwork for one for certain. But, you know, 60 years ago was 1957. 1957. When we think of 1957, what do you think of? Yeah, that's right. Malt shops. Hey, honey, how's your malt shop doing? I don't know, babe. It seems to have been killed thusly by the disco era. Like, times change. You can't always rely on things to be the same. That's why you gotta appreciate what you got while you got it. You know, one day you're listening to the Bee Gees, Studio 54. My girl likes to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. That's like 4 mixed decades, but you get the idea. The next thing you know, it's all up in smoke. The day the music died. Singing, bye bye Saturday Night Live. Dana Carvey, Michael Myers, Adam Sandler, and Clive. You guys don't remember Clive from... Yeah, okay, so we're like moving on here. We're doing fine, we're ahead of schedule, the stats are good, except luck, which is terrible. It's nice, you know? It's nice noticing that times have changed a lot in a way that, at least like technologically, I think is very much for the better, at least for the convenience of mankind. Because when you notice that point, it's like you've taken the derivative of human progress. And you're going, wow, the rate of change of human progress is out of control. It makes you feel like anything is possible. And then, you know, you go on the internet and you're like, they announced the electric car a year ago, but it's not out yet. What gives, science? And, you know, it takes time, I suppose. Change the world. Be the sunlight in your universe, as Eric Clapton said. You would think my love would give me... That's like 2 veiled references to John Travolta films in one day. Less veiled, I guess. More just overt. Baby, if I could change the world. Whatever happened to that song? You know what, actually? I was thinking today, Kate and I had a rare afternoon excursion out of our apartment. So we had the radio on. It was primetime radio, so it was playing all the hits. That's right. Smooth by Carlos Santana featuring Rob Thomas. And I remembered vividly, you know what? Take Telepil, skip Boss Rush. I remember vividly having a conversation with, not a friend of mine, an acquaintance. This is important because I'm actually the jerk in this situation. An acquaintance of mine around the year, 1999, 2000, and I'm not talking about a Gorillaz song whose definitive version was on the opening cutscene of FIFA 2002. Anyway, that song was all the rage back in like 7th grade summer, right? And we were talking about it for some reason, as schoolboys are wont to do. We're like, man, that, Smooth is such a good song. Yeah, it's probably like as good as the Beatles, right? Yeah. And then, yeah, it's even better than the Velvet Underground or Nico. Yeah, definitely. See, like, we were pretty smart. And there was a boy in our group who's like, I don't really like that song that much. And we were like, what is wrong with you? How can a living, breathing human stand before me and not like Smooth, the greatest song ever written? And I'm not saying I ostracized him as a result of this, but I definitely, like, in my head, I think something switched and was like, this guy's he's not quite right if he doesn't like Smooth. That's a very, like, unusual position to hold for a human being. That's like being, I don't like oxygen. Right? you have to remember I was 10, you know, maybe 11. So, you know, my second favorite song ever was probably like the Legend of Zelda theme. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And then I thought about that today, and I was like, man, there's no good deed goes unpunished, because that song is trash. Sorry, Rob. Not Rob Alpaca Patrol. I'm talking Robbie T. Rob Thomas. That song's garbage. It's like, what is the... Rob Thomas puts on a weird, like, Gambit accent for half the song, and, I mean, the guitar work is fine, but it's like, who cares? It doesn't matter. And that kid paid a small social price as a pariah for being right that day. And I don't remember his name, or otherwise I'd pretend to say that I'm going to contact him and apologize. He'd probably be like, yeah, you know, I forgot about that right after it happened. It's been 20 years. Oh, it's Tech X. But it's going to ruin Static Tears. But it's Tech X. But it's going to ruin Static Tears. So I'm just going to work towards Beelzebub instead, because I want to make Static Tears pop, and with the pencil, we have some cool Static Tear effects. So I'm just killing these enemies because then we can just leave anyway. Anyway, that was my aside. That came back to me vividly today when that song came on the radio. It's not the first time I've heard it in, like, 10 years. That song still plays all the time. It's one of those radio stations, they're like, we play all the hits. Mostly, we play 4 songs, and then in between those 4 songs, we play one song you really liked from 2001. I want something else to get me through this life, baby. You know, it's like the perfectly engineered radio station to offend no one, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Where's my key piece? But anyway. So mostly I end up going like, there's like... I always, internally, I have like a bangers per hour rating system for radio stations. Did I leave? No, wait, I just did that floor. That's right. So like, if I'm listening to like a classic rock, like the best of the 80s and 90s radio station, and they play Alive by Pearl Jam, you know, Overkill by Men at Work, follow it up with like Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer, I'm like, this is a straight up 15 bangers per hour. It's like 90% of the songs they're putting up there are hidden, no doubt. This place is probably like a 4 bangers per hour. Once every 15 minutes I go, oh, that's a banger. And it's not just the old jams. I'll be straight up with you. You know, I know that Justin Bieber's not a popular artist. I like Sorry. I think that's a genuine classic pop banger in the modern era. I'm not saying it's, you know, A Day in the Life by the Beatles, but as far as like pop songs go, I'm like, that one's up there. As within its contemporary, you know, era, I think that's up there. Occasionally they play that Bruno Mars song, That's What I Like, and I go, you know what? That is what I like. What a pleasant song with a funky beat that doesn't offend me by being, you know, too experimental. You know, it's just like a nice little... Bruno Mars, he's just so likable. So I've got all the edges rounded off, but it's still, like, pretty nice. And that is what I like. But then they also do a lot of, like I can't... I don't know why. I can't hear any more Shawn Mendes. Another good old Canadian? Or does he just play in Toronto? I don't know. It's either. I can't hear it anymore. It's killing me on the inside. Let me out. Wait, it's Shawn Mendes? I'm getting confused here. Which one goes, this girl, she got me shook? That's Sean Desmond. That's it. Yeah, it was Sam Mendes directed that movie, you know. Best Picture winner, American Beauty. One of my favorite movies ever. Yeah, that one. Why'd you put on this accent? I don't know, I just really like American Beauty. Hey, I'm directing here. Okay, we do want that. I don't think we're at bookworm levels of greatness yet. I mean, I keep using the shovel. You're just giving the appearance that you've lost control of your shovel usage here. Hating on somebody for their musical taste is actually like the dumbest thing in the world, but you know, I like what I like. The classic rock radio station is where I belong. It's my resting state. It's my natural habitat. Played some of the songs in Rock Band, which, you know, on a weird level is like, I have a more intimate relationship with this song now because I AFC'd it in Guitar Hero 2, you know? It's my natural resting state. We can move onwards, though. We're about to move onwards in a big way to begin with here. All of these runs recently have been fast. And I don't think that it's me being like, we gotta crank it out. Like, every 1 in 10 shots, we get this ridiculous static tier pencil shot. Have you seen that? Like, what am I supposed to do to slow down a run in which we shoot out a concentrated, like, Tesla coil of energy every 4 seconds? I feel like it's a fallacy for me to be like, we should slow it down. And an Emperor card on the Womb 1, that's just science. That's just when you use it. I wonder, because I believe the sharp pencil is once every 10 shots. How does that work with triple shot? Is it once every 10 shots still? Like once every 10 times you fire? Or is it like once every, you know, 3 or 4 with the remainder or something? We should just test it, okay? So this one might fire? No, this one might fire? Yeah, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once every 5? Well, that wasn't in my hypothesis at all. So we should really go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then walk into this room. Good one. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I don't know if that's worth, if the juice is worth the squeeze on that little attempted strategy there, but you know what? We're using our noggin, and that's important in this day and age. Still trying to learn a thing or two and innovate in Isaac as well, you know? It does mean we should probably fire when there's no enemies on the screen, as long as we're not doing anything else, you know? Kind of slowed down in terms of our pace, though. Like, speed is one thing. That's a literal stat. But I'm talking about pace right now. No tinted rocks? The pace of this run is just not as fast as I would have expected, given how quickly it started to pop. But I'm also playing way too aggressively. Which is not, well, like, ever a smart move. I should be talking about, like, the meta fact of the streak actually getting over triple digits for the first time in, like, a month. We've been through, I wouldn't say, like, some turbulent times in Isaac, because that implies that, you know, there's been behind-the-scenes turmoil. But no, we've really just, like, there was a stretch where we played badly, doubtlessly, and then there was the occasional, like, really bad seed that has just thrown a monkey wrench into our plans. But apart from that, like, it's been relatively decent play. Hello.
Hello.
What's up? There's leftover pizza in the refrigerator. You see, that's some men are from Mars, women are from Venus stuff right there. Because that's Christmas for me. Cold pizza in the refrigerator. Did you say there's poop on the floor? Like cat poop? What? Well, do I look like a cat to you? You think I left the cat poop on the ground?
Maybe it's your poop.
I'd be surprised. Where is it?
Next to TV.
Yeah, that's me. Sometimes I just decide I'll just go here and clean it up later.
It's really tiny poop.
Oh, it's definitely me then. I'm a known small pooper.
Oh my god, I almost stepped on it.
See, the thing is, cats are wild animals. You try to take them into the modern era here. You say, hey, poop in this box full of sand, and they go, that seems sweet. But every once in a while, they don't quite have it going on anymore. They forget. Our speed is good enough to go for this. Let's. It actually, like, 0% bothers me. I don't know, like, some people think get grossed out by it. I don't know if it's from doing biology labs in college, but, like, I have no visceral reaction to, like, fecal matter or vomit anymore. I'm not into it. It's not my idea of a good time. Like, I'd definitely rather just record another Isaac episode immediately than go, you know, have a nice little stinky interlude of picking up these, you know, little detritus, but it's not really a major concern for me for the most part. So, like, people are sometimes, when they talk about, like, to parents, they talk about what it's like to have a kid, and they're like, oh, I don't want to change diapers. Yeah, nobody wants to change diapers, I'm sure, but, like, should be way more concerned about the other unpleasant parts of having a child, like, you know, spending, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars on them. Probably substantially more than that, depending on where you live, but, like, that's the real unpleasant part. It's not changing the undies, it's signing the checks, my man. Okay. This is actually, like, one of the... It's a surprise to me as well, don't get me wrong. We gotta focus here, though. Dude, I'm glad we didn't go with Tech X, because we could have balled out of control, and it would have looked cool, but it would have been so samey. And instead, we got this cool static tier run where I learned that, like, the way that the tiers work with the pencil and static tiers is really nice. It creates, like, a cool, weird little cone or fishing net of electricity that scales with your damage. So we learned something. And hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.